Okay, so what are we listening to here then? What's this that we can hear that's very melodic, may I say?
So currently we're listening to a C vamp. So I'm just playing a C major 7 and I've just got it on a little loop pedal, vamping around, because I'm going to talk a little bit about changing up improvisation today.
Okay, so obviously you said about the C chord that's playing at the moment. Any particular reason why you've chosen that chord for us today?
Just because it's the easiest way to get across the scale that we're going to be looking at today, because if you look at C major or Ionian, there's no accidentals, so it's just each note is what it is. So C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. There's no sharps, there's no flats. Other than the scale that we're going to be using today, which has a sharp fourth, which is the Lydian scale.
Cool.
So with a C Ionian, you're listening to. But with a Lydian, you're going to sharpen that fourth. So.
I see. Right. Cool. So obviously, I recognise that kind of pattern. Is that like a common thing to do, just run up and down the scale like that?
Yeah, I mean,
it's kind of the initial thing to do when you solo, I imagine, is to kind of play the notes in succession.
Yeah, I mean, when you're practicing a scale, then yeah, you want to be practicing the scale just pretty much straight up and down to get it under your fingers. So just go. It's not very musical, is it? So
no, that was what I was going to say. That's I do recognise that quite a few bands aren't very artistic with it, and they kind of do just run up and down scales.
Yeah, so. I mean, I think in certain music there's definitely a place for playing sort of quick succession scale runs, but when you've got something like this, a bit jazzy with that, that major 7th chord, and especially because we're not using Ionian, we're using the Lydian with the sharp 4th, there's a bit of tension there, but it's still a major mode, so you don't want to just be hearing, because it's boring, isn't it? It's like someone just reading a dictionary to you, or reading the alphabet. It's like there's nothing there. It's like when you have a conversation, you don't just put random words or like each word underneath each other. You phrase and you
a bit more articulate. Rather than
you
just,
hang on a couple words. So that's what we're going to do. Instead of me just talking really quickly, trying to talk in 16th notes, it's. No one wants to listen to that, and it's annoying, it's grating. So you want to be able to play, you want to be able to learn the scale whilst just playing them one after the other, because it gets you a feel for each note. So a typical thing is to really hear what each note does to that chord and the flavour it gives. But when you're actually learning to play, you hear jazz musicians, or any musician really, no one just plays each note after each other. So what I found when I was studying some of the old timer jazz dudes, especially in the early recordings, like we're talking 40s maybe, you actually hear, if you really isolate the track, you can hear the performer actually singing the notes.
Yeah, that's kind of interesting, because I've noticed that actually with quite a few musicians. I mean, I'm more of a singer myself, so you often see them kind of either mouthing what they're playing. I mean, obviously some of that is just down to technique as well. They're kind of focusing on that. Yeah. But it's really interesting from a musician's point of view, like myself, a singer, because I never ever even thought about the fact that a guitarist would be singing the notes to try and find a melody, but it makes sense.
Yeah, that's it. And it's the same with every instrument. I mean, if you hear the saxophone, the phrasing, and like they're known for their like almost sexual sounds, because they really focus on their phrasing, because they've only got a certain amount of air to breathe through, so they've got to really make a statement
with the notes that they choose,
with what they've got. Whereas a musician, a guitarist, not a musician, but like a guitarist, you can shred away and play 4,000 notes a second for as long as your fingers don't get tired. And that's what lacks musicality, because some people just play the scales. Whereas when you listen to the blues guys, you hear blues and it's
they're
real.
Not playing as many
soul.
notes.
There's lots of bends.
Making the most of it.
That's
so
it.
I mean, we've done a lot of talking. I want to have some playing. So do you want to play us some of this, kind of give us an example of how you would sort of sing out a solo?
Yeah, definitely.
Which sounds really
you want to hear. You don't want your fingers to control you. You want to hear the music inside your head and let it out. And weirdly, even if you're not thinking of it, if you sing, you can phrase a lot better. So if you're starting, I don't know, let's go with.
It's much more vocal, isn't it? You can even hear that, like there's more of a melody to that.
You almost want to think that you're having a conversation with somebody. That's a good thing. So you can even ask like a question, like to yourself. Think of a question and almost play it how it sounds.
As an answer.
And then answer a bit cool and response styly. But when you sing, which mine sounds horrendous, but but when you do it that way, you are trying to focus on the note choices.
So to round up, I would say that there's no right or wrong way. It's kind of great to practice the scales in the way that they're made to be played, which is sequential. But obviously, it's even better if you can let your artistic flair come out. This is in a way a coping mechanism, if you will, of getting over that.
Because it's just it's a tool. That's
Absolutely.
all it is. It's every given note that can be possibly played from that mode or whichever scale you're playing, and it's a way to give it emotion rather than just reading out the letters of the sentence.
Well, how about we play out for our final piece of the video here? I'll give you a little singing over your lovely solo that you'll be playing. So off you go. Thanks for joining us, by the way, guys. My name's Christina. This is Andy, of course. It was a pleasure to let me be on your video, and we'll see you again soon.
So for those of you that want to learn a little bit more about the Lydian scale, make sure you hit the subscribe button down below, because the next video we're going to go a bit deeper into it, and I'll show you how to play it and a little bit more about its construction. So I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I'll see you next time.